As we look towards Saturday's celebrations of our servicemen and women, the incredible contribution made by the families shouldn't be forgotten.
Life for those left behind when a loved one dies in the line of duty can become overwhelming, especially when there are young children involved.
Yeah, thankfully that's where Nikki Scott, the army widow behind Scotty's Little Soldiers, stepped in. A charity born out of loss that's now been given the Royal Seal of Approval. Take a look.
It never, ever goes away. Like, it doesn't matter how long it's been, how old you are always going to have times when you need some support, even if it's just a quick drop-in to Scotty's and like a quick pick-me-up, I'm good, I'm back on my way, but them to know it's always here and they can, or, something happens, they can pick up the phone and call one of their Scotty friends. Like that, that's what it's all about for me, making sure that they never feel forgotten.
What you've done is incredible. It is, I mean, truly inspirational. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but it is.
Unbelievable. And Nikki Scott, who founded Scotty's Little Soldiers after the death of her husband, Lee, joins us now alongside her daughter, Brooke. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. I mean, obviously, Prince Harry right there. I mean, what was that moment like, actually speaking to him about your charity? What was that like?
It was quite surreal. He'd been there for quite a long time. Like, we'd had about 3 or 4 hours with him. Yeah. And we'd just done this event with all the young children, and then I went straight into a serious chat. It was really surreal. Afterwards, I was like, I just sat down with Prince Harry and talked about my journey. Yeah, it was really good, though, very special.
Sometimes those moments are almost better when you can't prepare for them.
True.
You're just being instinctive.
Yeah.
Nikki, tell us about the charity starting. So we have to go back with your husband, Lee. So tell us about Lee and what led you to start this charity.
Yeah, so Lee served in the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, was very proud to be a soldier, and went to do a tour in Afghanistan, as you do, being a soldier. And 6 weeks into that tour, I got the news that every military wife dreads. I think that you have this nightmare all the time, and then you never actually think it's going to be you. I was told that Lee had been killed. And, yeah, just life completely changed from that moment, and realised that, the effects that his death had on us was just massive as a family, especially with 2 young children. Yeah. And realised there were so many more out there that needed the help.
Do you even get time to process that grief yourself? Because immediately your first obligation, responsibility is immediately... And you're outpouring a grief immediately with your kids, right? Yeah.
Even now, my mum still says, I don't think you're fully grieved.
Really?
Because there's because I kept myself busy. Everyone is different. And I see this, all the people I've met, there is no death's the same. No one handles grief the same. But for me, it was, I needed to keep busy. I needed a purpose. I couldn't just let Steph be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, he was 26. He was full of life. Like, I cannot just let Lee...
So young.
Yeah. Just
26, 20... And the kids were so young, and yet there is support for the people who lose them, but there's no real support for the children, is there?
Oh, it's so limited. I mean, my cousin, she made me go on this holiday about 9 months after. I just did not want to go. It felt like torture. But she was like, you're coming. I went on that holiday, and that's when I saw... Kai, Brooke's older brother, who was 5 at the time, just relax and laugh in the pool. That's when I started to think, what are the kids going to need to get them through this? How many other children have experienced the death of a parent who served? And that's where I started to think, hang on a minute, there's some great UK military charities, some great support out there, but there was just so limited support for children that have experienced the death of a parent.
But Nikki, it's one thing to think that when you're sat by a pool watching your kids kind of, be normal children. It's a whole other thing to go, where do I start with this charity? How do I start a charity?
Yeah, I worked in pubs and nursery schools. I had no idea what I was doing.
So what happened? What did you do?
Family, big one, family and friends supported me. They probably thought crazy idea, but she's grieving, but we'll crack on. But literally family and friends, and I think just, I knew who I wanted to help, and the first few ways I wanted to help them. Do you know what I mean?
What are they?
I wanted to be able to help any child whose parent had died either whilst serving or has been a veteran and died. Any. So RAF, Navy, Army, doesn't matter. Any cause of death. And I wanted to raise enough money to have a holiday home at first, so that they could have that break that we had. Yeah. And, now we've got 7 holiday homes.
Fantastic.
So much more, because as you grow and you learn and you speak to the children, you're like,
so
much more they need.
And Brooke, you were so young when your father passed away. You were 7 months at the time.
Yes.
So people might think, well, obviously you can't remember what he was like and stuff like that. How did it impact your life?
Yeah, I think people assume that because I was a baby and I don't have any memories, that it'd almost be easier for me to grieve because I didn't have anything to miss.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes it so difficult is, as a kid, I'd try and come up with my own memories, but it's not the same. And my older brother, he was 5, so he still has a few that he can remember.
Yeah, he's got some memories.
Yeah, so I'm always asking about what he was like, and we're still in touch with a lot of his military friends and stuff. So I'll ask them stories about what he was like at work, what he was like outside of work. So that helps me feel a bit more connected.
So interesting that, because irrespective of whether you're in the military or not, if a child who can't remember their parent, you're so right, we all assume, as having to mates of mine, you always assume, well, you don't remember what you can't grieve what you never had in the first place. But for you, it's interesting because it's all what might have been. Like, you know, you want to fill in those gaps, right?
Yeah, like, so we have loads of pictures of him around the house, and some days I feel like I'll look at a picture and I feel like I really know him.
Yeah.
And then other days, like maybe 2 days later, I feel like I'm looking at a stranger. It's very weird, and I'll go through certain periods where I'm like, I'm absolutely fine, like, I feel like I really know him and I've got all these stories, and then I'll go through other periods where I'm like, hang on a minute.
I need to know.
I haven't got a clue what he was like.
You've got that great nature-nurture, haven't you? Because you must see me and her.
Oh, massively. I mean, she looks like, but she acts like she's totally her
Does
dad.
she?
Yeah, which is weird, isn't it? Because she hasn't grown up to learn those mannerisms or that. That is just in her, which I love. Sometimes I love it, and sometimes I'm like, God, you're like your dad. But it's so interesting. And Kai and Brooke, obviously, you know, I spoke to Prince Harry about this in the video, but they're, you know, same mum, same information being given, and yet have handled the bereavement completely differently and needed different help. And often, you know, like with Brooke, obviously, I've had to tell Brooke and Kai quite a few times about their dad's death. So you don't just tell a child once your dad's died, because as they get older, they're like, the questions she asks, I'm like, whoa, OK, these are tough questions now. You didn't ask these when you were 6, you know, like...
You've got to be on it, haven't you?
Yeah, and they need to know everything because they could read about it.
Brooke, how do you feel seeing your mum do the charity? I mean, the amount of hours she's up really late at night. You must be so proud of your mum.
Oh, I'm so proud. Like, whenever someone asks me that question, I'm just, like, beaming, because I just think it's, like, what she's done is amazing. You know, the charity now supports over 680 children, and it's just to see, like, when we all come together, to see how much the kids really appreciate it is amazing. And Scotty's has helped so many children. You know, without them, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And, you know, through the charity, you form bonds that are for life. You know, you could talk to someone for 10 minutes and it feels like you've known them for years.
You're an ambassador, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, so I'm part of a Scotty Council, which is a group of us members, and we help with media, so things like this, and then we also help with, like, ideas with the Winter Festival.
They tell the team what to do, basically.
Is she the one who got me involved in lockdown?
Possibly. One of them.
How is she only 15? She feels like she's about 25 or so.
These children now on the council, well, all of them are, they just grow up so fast, I think, because of what they've been through, and they just all want to help, which is incredible.
And what's the one thing you need?
Money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Everyone's struggling right now. We get it, and like charities are, but this year has been the hardest for us. And we know that, you know, 689 children or whatever. You know, that is incredible. Like, you know, but we know that every year there's an estimate of 2,100 children bereaved who had a parent that was serving or was a veteran, which is just, we've still got so many more children to reach.
And it's his birthday today, which is amazing.
It is, how special.
It's brilliant stuff. All right, Nikki, Brooke, and many more like him will be celebrating when Armed Forces Day is marked across the UK tomorrow.